Pat Smith along with Landrum Roberts, Conrad Van Order, and Molly Robinson with you until 2 o'clock. We'll go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama momentarily. Talk to Rodney Orr from Tider Insider. Alabama basketball, big win last night on the road in Oxford, Mississippi, 93-74. The Tide now 17-7 on the season, 7-4 in the SEC. And Joe Lunardi this morning in his latest bracketology now has Alabama as a 4 seed. Pretty interesting. Beat a bad Ole Miss team, and you're now a 4 seed.
Yeah, you got a lot of moving parts. There's only 4 lines there on the 4 seed.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But no, Alabama, hey, they had that kind of output in the second half. From here on out, things will get interesting.
Yeah, 61 points in the second half for the Tide. They await South Carolina Saturday night at Coleman Coliseum. Speaking of Ole Miss, right down the road from Mississippi, the university, in Pittsboro, Mississippi, which is about 38 miles south of Oxford, is where Trinidad Chambliss and his legal team, Tom Mars, are going to battle with the NCAA. It has been going on now for about an hour and a half. And watching in between the commercial breaks, it appears that Tom Mars is worth every penny based on what we've been seeing in that courtroom.
But just to give our listeners, an idea of some of the questions, what was Joe Judge asked about being an expert?
Well, there was an objection because Joe Judge is in the witness box now trying to discuss how difficult it is to play quarterback in college football.
I heard him during the break talk about progressions and
right. He's trying to be I guess he was the expert on quarterbacks. And there was an objection, and the judge ruled in favor of the NCAA about he was not a quarterback or offensive expert. So, but he's still giving testimony. So, I know it's crazy. But basically, the NCAA has pointed out, at least in the early session, is that Trinidad Chambliss had the option of getting a tonsillectomy. To have surgery to correct his issues, and he decided not to. And so if he would have done that, he would have been out maybe 2 weeks, and then he would have been able to compete and probably play football as opposed to not playing a whole season.
This is not only huge because you said up to guesstimated $5 to $6 million on the line for Trinidad Chambliss.
Correct.
If he comes back and plays another year in Oxford. But think about what this potentially could mean for Pete Golding and that staff as far as their tenure.
The whole school.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole football program, the athletics program. How much money it generated for Ole Miss.
Having Trinidad Chambliss as your quarterback as opposed to Deuce Knight or who I think that's probably a big difference.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Tuscaloosa, the site of Charles Bediako being denied his eligibility. Rodney Orr joins us now from Tider Insider. Hey, Rodney, how are you?
How's it going, guys?
Oh, just watching it's like watching court TV back in the old days with some of these crazy cases.
Have you hired Charles Bediako to join Tider Insider? Ask the 7-footer.
Can you believe where we're at? We're spending more time in the courtroom than we are
on the court
discussing upcoming on the court.
It's insane.
It's
crazy.
It's nuts. The thing that I appreciate, I really do, whether it's open record laws or sunshine laws, all those type things, at least in the state of Mississippi. I mean, this is statewide television right now, Rodney. I mean, that's what everyone is tuned in watching. Meanwhile, whatever took place in that Tuscaloosa courtroom, we have no idea. I mean, we obviously.
I'll give it to Mississippi. It looks like court TV in there.
Yeah. I mean,
all their shots, they're clean.
Yeah. I mean, they're not playing around. Meanwhile, we had no idea what was going on behind closed doors there in Tuscaloosa. So, but were you shocked that Bediako was denied the eligibility?
No, not shocked. I mean, again, there was nothing there that would have shocked me. Matter of fact, I probably lean towards him not, being eligible.
Right.
So it really didn't surprise me. There was some hope there, for him, that he would get to continue to play here. But, it is what it is. And so I really wasn't shocked by that decision.
Any idea, Rodney, because you talked to a lot of folks, about the compensation, what Charles Bediako potentially got to come back? Was it a game by game? Was it a flat rate?
I don't know, but I'll try to find out. I think, maybe I can tell you that later. I haven't even really kind of investigated that, but I'll certainly, check into that and see if I can find out more on it. I know that obviously Nate Oates has been pretty open about, they were going to continue to do everything they can for him. His scholarships here. They're going to continue to work on him, developing him physically to get where he needs to be to take his next step. So he's going to still get continue to get a lot of help from Alabama, it sounds like.
Well, let's talk about the reaction, because we obviously have a certain reaction on this radio show. This is a statewide radio program from Huntsville all the way down to the Gulf of America. Everybody can hear this show, and people nationally, based on the numbers and based on our YouTube and things of that nature, a lot of people nationally tune in to kind of get a scope of what's going on in our neck of the woods. But as far as your subscribers go and the message boards, was it split that maybe Alabama should not have gone down that road to begin with Bediako? Were they irritated at Sankey? Where did it fall in regards to people on Tider Insider?
Yeah, I would probably say 90%. There were some, maybe 10, maybe that not quite that much percent that felt like 10% felt like maybe Alabama shouldn't have ever gone down that road.
Okay.
But it was a vast majority who, yes, Sankey was it was brutalized on Tider Insider after that decision because of the affidavit that he yeah, and I think too that again they felt like that. Here's the thing, and again, I understand there's some differences. He signed 3 NBA contracts and all of that. But you got a lot of guys that have played professional ball of some kind that are playing now. And then the NCAA made this argument that if you allow this to happen, it robs young teenagers of potential dreams that they have to play on this level. And then here they are, giving guys 7, 8, 9 years, to play. So, I mean, it just kind of seemed a little bit hypocritical in that regard. But, again, I think that most people were, like I said, really, really upset about that decision on Tider Insider.
What is your best guess, Rodney, with the fallout and all of the national media attention that the Charles Bediako case just got recently? Do you think that this leads to legislation where we try to maybe put in a tighter box, a little neater, what the European players' guidelines, age restrictions, time period? Do you think we get any of that in the basketball offseason?
You know what? I think you got to do something. And do I think it's going to happen here soon? I don't know. But I would say there has to be something that, first of all of these guys are being paid. The guys that are playing right now, we call them college athletes. They're being paid, and they're being paid a lot of money. Some of them millions of dollars. So they're not really college athletes. They're professionals, is what they really are. Whether some people want in certain positions want to admit that or call them that, that's really what they are. So you got to somehow distinguish all of this and, come to some sort of, like you said, some rules and guidelines that you follow, and they have to be consistent in the decisions that are made, the rulings that are made, the way the NCAA applies their rules has to be consistent. And so I think that's extremely important as we start to move forward.
Rodney Orr from Tider Insider joins us every Thursday here on the program. You can always get a subscription there at tiderinsider.com for the very latest news and information. And, of course, the lively message boards that he enjoys policing each and every weekend or after an Alabama game. Let's talk about the Alabama basketball team without Charles Bediako. Got a big road win. It doesn't matter who you're playing in this conference. If you can get a win on the road, that's huge. I saw with Joe Lenardi this morning. He's got Alabama as a 4 seed if the tournament selection was this Sunday. Just your overall impressions with this team without Bediako.
Well, I mean, obviously they had a big win, like you said, 19-point win on the road against a team that's struggling. Ole Miss obviously has lost, 6 in a row. But I think, it was a good team effort after that first half. That first half was a little bit scary. You know, they only shot 25%, but they exploded in the second half. Had 5 guys in double figures. So now they've rattled off 3 straight wins, which I think is big. You know, they've got 7 SEC games left, so maybe they can continue to stack up some wins right now. But you know, again, I think Bediako brought them something on the inside that they don't have or didn't have. And so now they've got to make some adjustments. I think we saw that last night with him going to a smaller lineup at times. And so I think that this is a team right now that's going to have to continue to find themselves as they start to move down towards that SEC tournament. But I think now what they have in front of them, these next 7 games, I think they have time to get there.
If all goes well in this closing stretch of the regular season, then entering March, Rodney, what is the ceiling for this team?
You know, that's a great question. To be honest with you, I think if you look at this team, and a lot of that depends on the draw you get. You know,
Sure.
Once you get into the NCAA tournament, like a couple of years ago, I thought they got a really good draw when they went to the Final Four, took advantage of it. Honestly, I couldn't see this team if you just asked me today beyond Sweet 16. I just couldn't see it if that. But again, you never really know until they actually get out there and start going at it. And but right now, that would probably be my ceiling. Would say Sweet 16.
Let's talk a little football as Alabama football is working to finalize a deal to hire Louisville offensive line coach Richard Owens as the Tide's tight ends coach. That's a very familiar name in at least Birmingham because he used to be the offensive coordinator for Garrick McGee and the UAB Blazers. Now he is leaving Louisville, coming to Tuscaloosa. Do you know much about Richard Owens and what kind of job you think he's going to be able to do there on that offensive line working with the tight ends?
Yeah. Well, I don't know a ton about him other than, some of the credentials that we've heard. And,
Right.
Obviously he's been around. He has a lot of experience. I mean, coaching on the offensive line. I think when you have that kind of expertise and you can add it as a tight ends coach, that's a pretty good pickup. I mean, I like his credentials. He's been around. He has experience. You mentioned he's been a run game coordinator. He's been an offensive coordinator. He's worked with Kane Womack before at South Alabama. So, or they certainly have a connection there, and he just that experience, and like I said, it's a tight ends coach. I'm certainly not downplaying the position, but I think his experience as an offensive line coach can bring something to that position in terms of maybe some things they want to do up front offensively, with blocking schemes and becoming a little bit more physical in the things that they do. So, yeah, I personally, I think it was a pretty good hire, just based on the credentials that we've seen.
Alabama announces April 11th, the A-Day, modifications because I believe of a Morgan Wallen concert that's coming up the following weekend. What can you tell us about not only the format of the game? Is it going to be more traditional? And what Tide fans can expect when they make their way to Tuscaloosa in April?
Well, that's another really good question because there was some speculation yesterday that was undecided, and it may be not totally decided. And there was a suggestion that maybe it would look more like last year in terms of being a practice, that fans could watch. But I actually spoke to someone last night who seemed to be pretty confident that it would be a scrimmage format. So we'll see. Again, I don't have 100% on that right now. But it did sound, based on the conversation I had last night, that it would be a scrimmage format. And I think that's a lot better for fans. That's what they would rather see. They would rather see a game-type situation there. And I think it would certainly add some enthusiasm and maybe some energy to that A-Day crowd that hopefully shows up.
That is Rodney Orr, joins us every Thursday here on Three Man Front with South Carolina coming up this weekend. I'm sure it'll be a nice, quiet weekend on the old message boards, right?
We sure hope so. It's been good the last 3 games.
Rodney, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Rodney.
Okay, guys, appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you so much. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. I want to tell everybody about Abide Roofing. And with spring storms right around the corner, summer right around the corner after that, it's very important to make sure that everything's cool up on your roof. You can't see your roof from the ground, so you need to call Travis Lloyd and the fine team at Abide Roofing. They can help you today at 205-577-7338. They're the insurance claim masters, so if they get up on your roof and they find you got a problem, they will help you deal with your insurance company just like they did with me. But they're going to give you a no-cost, free look on your roof, and they can assess any issues, and they can give you a plan moving forward on what needs to be done to whether it's fix those loose shingles or perhaps a whole new roof replacement. They can take care of all that. 25 years of trusted experience, warranties that will give you the peace of mind. But as I mentioned, the no-cost consultation and estimate. Get started today, 205-577-7338, abideroof.com.
And we'll keep you updated on what's going on in the Mississippi courtroom involving the case of Trinidad Chambliss versus the NCAA vying for an extra year of eligibility. Your text on the text line, we got some good ones. We'll get to those next. It's Thursday edition of Three Man Front on Jocks. $11:19, always a fun conversation with Tighter Insiders Rodney Orr. All of our conversations, any part of the show that you might have missed or you just want to hear again because it was so darn good. JocksFM.com and the Three Man Front podcast. How about our friends at Mandu? Mandu is electrical muscle stimulation fitness located conveniently in downtown Homewood. Paul and his staff, they do a wonderful job. Caleb, one of his great trainers, they're going to take care of you. But the EMS, the electrical muscle stimulation fitness. What that means is it's a 15-minute workout that's FDA approved, and that 15 minutes is the equivalent to 6 hours in a gym. There's technology involved, all FDA approved. It doesn't hurt. It does work. Got a big announcement, though. Coming up this weekend, Tuscaloosa, you're getting a Mandu. Congratulations. Take them up on it. Mandu, Birmingham, Huntsville, coming to Tuscaloosa this weekend. Check it out right there in Tuscaloosa. It's 2304 University Boulevard, Suite 100. But MANDUU.com, Mandu, that's the website. We'd love to see you here in Homewood. First visit's free. They'll put you through the workout. Always tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
We've been following the Trinidad Chambliss case that is going on as we speak in Calhoun County, Mississippi, Pittsboro, Mississippi. Town of about 137. It's about 37 miles south of Oxford, Mississippi. It's been a lively morning session in which the NCAA has been trying to punch holes into a medical expert detailing the issues that Trinidad Chambliss had when he was at Ferris State, that being tonsillitis. Matter of fact, it was chronic tonsillitis. NCAA is saying that he could have elected to have surgery and he could have been back in class and back on the practice field within 2 weeks after that surgery, whereas the medical expert, obviously, he was Trinidad's medical expert, so he was kind of poo-pooing that idea that could have been easily had for Trinidad. Also, Joe Judge, one of the assistant coaches of the Ole Miss Rebels, he is on the stand. Trinidad had brought him on board to be an expert witness. Well, the NCAA attorneys, they quickly offered an objection, saying that Joe Judge was not an expert when it comes to quarterbacks or offenses in college football, and the judge sustained. Said that Judge would be allowed to discuss Trinidad Chambliss and being a quarterback or offense in college football, but it had to be layman opinions. So he is not labeled as an expert in this court proceeding. When asked, Joe Judge explained how a draft board comes together for an NFL team. He says the first thing you do is to eliminate players because there's too many on the board. Obviously, the line there is they're trying to prove the worth of Trinidad Chambliss. And if he were denied another year of eligibility, the $6 million that he would not make from Ole Miss, could he make that in the NFL? So that's the line of questioning, talking about the NFL draft. Judge also says it would be absolutely be in Chambliss's best interest as a quarterback to get time to develop as a football player. Judge says NFL teams prefer to draft players who have had success over multiple seasons, not a half season.
Yeah. And it's case by case. We've seen exceptions to that.
Judge also points out that the only quarterback to start a Super Bowl who was a one-year starter in Division I football was Cam Newton.
Yeah.
The only one.
He's pretty good.
So we will keep you posted on the fun and frivolity there in Pittsboro, Mississippi. Tomorrow, Joey Aguilar gets his turn in a courtroom in Knox County. We're going to talk to Vince Ferrara, who is an award-winning sports talk host on our sister station, the Sports Animal, up in Knoxville, next hour. We'll get his feelings, hoping that there will be cameras in that courtroom tomorrow.
I would just love if the judge, after he brought that point up about Cam Newton, he goes, "Son, I just watched Sam Darnold playing a Super Bowl on Sunday. I think Trinidad will be just fine."
Yeah.
It's a good point. It's a really good
Text
point.
line is open, 205-834-9450. Michael chimes in, and going back to the OJ story, said, here's a story that involves OJ and my wisdom teeth. The year was 1994. So there I was in Marine Corps boot camp.
Oh.
I had to have my wisdom teeth removed. I heard the dentist talking about O.J. Simpson and the Bronco chase. That's how I first learned about the O.J. situation from a dental chair in Parris Island, South Carolina. Thank you for your service. Lewis, yes, seconds that My Cousin Vinny, the movie, was filmed in Georgia because the highway signs made it in the final edit. Great movie. It was a very good movie. By the way, going back to Trinidad Chambliss, the tonsillitis, strep throat, infections, multiple infections in his time there at Ferris State. For those of you on the text line, AI is telling me that the average human swallows 900 times per day.
Okay.
Seems like a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And I guess you don't swallow in your sleep, so it's really a lot.
Kenny from Bessemer, it's funny, has John Calipari. He is the only coach in history to have two schools to get penalized and vacate wins in UMass and Memphis, but he has something to say about Alabama, LOL. Of all the coaches that have been outspoken.
Oh, there's things we can find on everybody. Everybody's a hypocrite sometime.
Corey asks, what do you think about this? You cap college players by age 22 with possibly 23 being the cap. That includes all red shirts available. That gives someone 17 or 18 years old plenty of college sports experience and an opportunity to make a lot of money. That would also include overseas athletes as well. The only problem with that is you're still going to have exceptions like the kid that signed with USC, and it was football, but he had to have 3 surgeries in his time there. He never got to see the field because of medical hardships. He's been granted a 9th year. But I don't think we can make it blanket. You're still going to have waivers and exceptions. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about the 23 anymore. Why are we going to cap it at 23? Some of these kids aren't getting their opportunities because of the transfer portal until they're 19 or 20 years old, right? Well, Trinidad Chambliss would be an example.
Yeah, the age limit, I think the age limit is an idea that sounds nice in practice, but the actual application of it that'd be hard.
I just think it's weak when we're paying these kids $1 million at 18 to come and play football against. Nobody has a problem with it in the NBA. Nobody's saying, oh, that poor LeBron James at 18 years old. Oh, gosh, he's going up against all those grown men. He was all right.
If you're good, you're good. So the reason that those 23-year-olds are not in the NBA or the NFL is because they're probably not good enough to be there yet. So you should be able to compete with them.
Going back to Ole Miss, this one reads, serious question. How do you think Deuce Knight feels about this? I think Deuce Knight probably feels great. I think he got a great deal to go to Ole Miss. And
he knew what the deal was.
Knew the circumstances. Ole Miss, they didn't hide anything from him. The thing is played out publicly.
It's just like I look at the Raiola thing with him going to Oregon. He knew, all right, I'm going to transfer to Oregon. If Dante Moore comes back, I'm going to have to sit a year. And if he doesn't, then I'll get to play. He knew what he was signing up for. And he got paid a lot to do that.
Finally, this one reads, I had a girlfriend many years ago. When she was 19, she had a tonsillectomy, and it basically knocked her out of commission for 3 weeks. It sure was peaceful. Just kidding. That's what he said.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. I mean, I remember that in Wisdom. I mean, that's not a fun recovery.
Nope. Keep the text rolling in, 205-834-9450. Keep you updated what's going on with Trinidad Chambliss. Is he going to be able to play football, college football in 2026? And much, much more as we roll on this Thursday.
So this morning at 9:30 a.m., Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss and his attorneys made their way inside a courtroom in Pittsboro, Mississippi. They're hoping to get a preliminary injunction, which would allow him to play an additional year of football. That is ongoing. We've been kind of giving you updates as we've been getting information about what's going on inside the courtroom. This is being broadcast live across the state of Mississippi on multiple television outlets. So it's not very hard to find. So we're trying to consume this information in between commercial breaks and some people that we know that's in the courtroom because they set the media, Landrum, in the jury box. So, because there's no jury, because the judge will be the one that will rule on this. So they just said, you know what, we'll just put all the media right there in the jury box. So they got the cameras and you got bloggers and internet folks and TV folks.
I wonder how much this judge paid attention to what went on in Tuscaloosa.
Good question.
I would think it would be hard for him not to follow. And I'm not trying to discriminate because of age, but I don't take this judge as someone who is surfing Instagram and Twitter every single day trying to see what's going on. But I bet he spent more time on social media or on the interwebs last week, just kind of getting the reaction. I guarantee he saw Greg Sankey's.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
In the affidavit.
No question about that. So basically the argument this morning is Trinidad Chambliss's medical history and the medical conditions that he had at Ferris State and his ability to participate in competition there at Ferris State. So that is the big question that is being argued back and forth. And now Joe Judge, the assistant coach for Ole Miss, he is on the stand basically talking about the NFL draft, talking about Trinidad as a person, things of that nature. I'm not sure who is next up on the witness list, but we will keep you posted. Now, a funny exchange did happen about 40 minutes ago with Joe Judge and the court. Take a listen. This is Ole Miss assistant coach Joe Judge in the courtroom this morning on behalf of Trinidad Chambliss.
Without your body being full ready to go, honestly, you're useless in professional life.
Can you slow down just a little bit? This lady's taking down everything you say.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And it might be moving at a little bit fast speed.
Where are you from originally?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
You've been here long enough now to know we talk a little bit slower.
I'll do my best.
All right, thank you.
So Joe Judge from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, not Philadelphia, Mississippi. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania was talking a little bit too fast. So I had to ask him to, hey, just kind of slow it down a little bit.
Let's play in all the Southern stereotypes.
I'm sorry. Listening to that, I'm like, he's talking like a normal person.
I know.
I'm sorry. Like
I wonder if
that's the one thing we have. We're not Mississippi.
Coach,
Alabama.
we don't wear shoes in our courtroom.
Ugh, whew.
Man, I will give you a little bit of NCAA. The NCAA did do something right this morning. I know a lot of people said, well, the NCAA did right by Bediako, but I'll tell you that the NCAA Division I Infractions Appeals Committee, they have denied the appeal of Connor Stallions.
Yes, okay. I can get behind that.
The committee affirmed the appealed findings of violations and applications of aggravating factors. So, sorry, Connor.
He's lucky he's not in jail.
Probably should be.
Yeah, honestly.
So, yeah, the NCAA slapped him around and said nope.
Or dead from some
Crazy Ohio State fan or something.
Or just crazy gambler.
Hey, speaking of Ohio State, and we've been trying to follow this, and I should have done this work, but I'm just going to ask because you guys might know this question. Is it true that a big booster at Ohio State, his name was in the Epstein files?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't it their practice facility, correct?
So that's
football.
the part that I was not familiar with because I saw that he had donated money to the university, but I didn't know what that money went towards. But yes, there was a Ohio State booster or somebody that donates money to the school in the files. Yes.
Well, the New York Giants are about to lose one of their owners because.
Oh yeah.
I mean and I saw that last night and understood that maybe this individual's name is on the football practice.
I did not know that.
Well, There's one, Dr. Mark Landon, the chair of Ohio State's Department of, well, he's the OBGYN.
And his name's on their practice facility?
Yes. And according to this, Epstein wrote that they were paying this doctor, Mark Landon, $75,000 a year. The email did not mention what they were paying him for.
Okay.
Yeah, this
But
story
again,
says
he's an OBGYN, and we're talking about
okay, yeah, there you go.
Jeffrey Epstein. Enough said. Gross.
All right, I was just.
I don't know if Landon had anything to do with it.
Yeah, it
I'm
also
reading the
says
report. I'm just saying Epstein, everything about it, gross.
Yeah, it also says that in addition to payments, he received at least 10 packages from Epstein and his associates back in the early 2000s.
I would imagine his name's about to come off that building.
It better, if this is true.
All right, so last night, Jizzle James, he had 24 points last night for Cincinnati. His Bearcats blew out Kansas State 91-62. But Jizzle James was not the story. Kansas State head coach Jerome Tang spoke for nearly 2 minutes following his team's 29-point loss to Jizzle on his home court in Manhattan, Kansas. The Wildcats now have lost their last 2 home games by a combined 63 points, and they're now 1-10 in the Big 12 Conference. This is Jerome Tang last night after the game.
I'm going to honor Christ like I always do. Blessed to do this, but this was embarrassing. These dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few of them in it next year. I'm embarrassed for the university. I'm embarrassed for our fans, our student section. You know, it is just ridiculous. We got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we will get this thing right. I have no answer, no words. So y'all got 2 questions. So whoever want to ask 2 questions, I'll answer them to the best of my ability right now. But right now, like I'm like pissed, and this is all right. Questions.
Landry Roberts, WJOX coach. What do you plan to do at that 6 a.m. practice?
Maybe you should have ran them like the Syracuse head coach did.
I was going to say, after the game, just let him make them run.
I don't think Jerome's going to be around next year, probably.
63 points you have lost in your last 2 games at home.
He takes over for Bruce Weber. In his first year, he leads his team to the tournament, but it's been a steady decline. And we talk about how athletic departments, they operate visually. They're looking at that 3-year window, and especially in college basketball, and you look around at your peers, and you got schools like Nebraska getting it done, and it's probably pretty easy to pull the trigger on a head coach. But man, what an indictment of your squad!
Mm-hmm.
You put that group together.
I want to remind everybody. I don't know. Am I being the water in Manhattan, Kansas? That these coaches for the Wildcats are just. They like to whine. They like to cry. They get paid millions of dollars to be a coach.
I do give him credit. He mentioned that first about being blessed, and he is.
But I'm going to take you back to November. My point being the coaches there, if they can't stomach it, then get out. You get paid $5 to $6.5 million a year to do this job. I'm tired of listening to you whine. Listen to Kleiman after they lost to Utah before he ended up quitting.
And I know a lot of people thought we'd come over here and lay down, and that maybe the kids had cashed it in, because I've heard it enough. I've cashed it in. I've heard the players have cashed it in. We need to get new leadership here. We need to get new players, new coaches. I'm tired of it. I gotta be honest with you, I'm tired of it. I've given my friggin' ass life for this place for 7 years. I've given everything for 7 years. And I think I deserve something. A little bit of respect.
You get a respect every 2 weeks when you catch that big ass paycheck there at Kansas State.
I think some of these guys have been making crazy money relative to what we bring in, the average American every year, and they live in that fantasy world. And a lot of times they do forget.
How about Kansas State going and finding some coaches that have a little backbone? My gosh. You just heard 2 examples of the 2 sports that's supposed to bring in the most amount of money to your university, and they sound like whiny you-know-what.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you said it best, Landrum. You can be frustrated, but at the end of the day, you evaluated those kids and you decided to bring them into your roster and make a team with them.
Sure did.
Yeah.
So there's
You
consequences
put
to
that bad group together.
Mm-hmm. That's part of the job.
And you know what? You're not going to get any pity from your administration because they see a lot of other programs having to do it every year too.
And Jerome Tang will get a golden parachute.
Of course.
He will be fired, just like Hugh Freeze got a golden parachute at Auburn. And
He'll be on somebody's bench next season.
Absolutely. And then some school will give him another opportunity to go down that same road again.
I'm with you. I know coaches have families, they have relationships, they have feelings. I appreciate that, but I'm like you, Pat. Enough with this moaning and wailing. My goodness gracious.
And
there's some people that can't keep their power on. And you get paid how many hundreds of thousands of dollars a month?
Mm-hmm. Kleiman couldn't take it anymore, and he quit.
And obviously, we're going to do this with every basketball team we talk about now. He has 5 international kids on his roster, too.
Does he?
I'm just saying, yeah.
Maybe it's a language barrier.
Maybe they don't drink vodka.
Maybe it's a language barrier.
Language.
How you say play hard? How you say play hard?
Yeah, it's weird over here in the States. Our coach just really doesn't care if we give effort. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I just don't think they drink enough vodka in Manhattan, Kansas.
I think Jerome probably had some last night after that game.
New approach, guys. We're drinking vodka before games.
At 6 a.m. this morning at practice. We're going to get started early.
Minimum, everybody gets at least 1 tea.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk to Rob Pate, former Auburn DB. It's top of the hour. We'll talk to Chris Vanini from The Athletic, covers college football, 12:30. We'll go up to Knoxville, Tennessee, as Joey Aguilar's case will be heard tomorrow there in Knox County. All that straight ahead on Jocks. It is 11:48 on this Thursday here on Jocks Each Week. We are blessed to have an opportunity to catch up with former Auburn DB Rob Pate. He joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. How was the Super Bowl party at the Pate House over the weekend? Did y'all have a good time?
Yeah, man, we enjoyed it. We actually went to you guys remember Will Herring?
Absolutely.
Who actually played for Seattle for several years. So we were at their house with some friends and got to watch it with his family and a couple other families that we're close with, and yeah, had a great time, man. It was a lot of fun. That's always a great event, and the game was pretty boring, but for watching it with somebody that played for Seattle, he was digging it, so we had a good time with it.
Rob, have you ever attended a Super Bowl?
No. Man, listen, when you have 5 kids and you want to do anything in American life, as simple as trying to just go to eat at a restaurant, that is a difficult thing to do. Yes, no doubt. So like, my kids were deprived. It's great to grow up in a large family, and I think that
they grew up hard like you, Rob.
Yeah, they did. But things like Disney World and that kind of stuff, no, that'll be a one-on-one adult trip that we'll have to take with them. Just haven't been able to. There's no time for that kind of thing, and man, it's just too expensive.
One more quick thing to add. Me and my wife went and did Disney, Universal, no kids this summer. It was great as adults.
Well, that's the funny thing. We never took our kids, but my daughter, my youngest daughter, had a cheer event there her senior year at high school. And so my wife took my oldest daughter, and they said it was the best time they've ever had in their lives. So I think going as an adult is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope week 0 of the high school football season, I hope you'll have me over for dinner. Can that?
Oh, that's right.
Can that happen?
Is that the Hewitt game?
You know we will on Thursday.
Is that? Oh man, that'll be great. Definitely. And
better be nice to us. Better.
A tough night schedule. Opelika, Enterprise, but
quarterback for Auburn High School.
Kason Myers is the quarterback.
And I hear that Pate kid is.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, he's nipping at his heels.
He's out there, but no, Auburn High's got a quarterback that's going to be a Division I player. He's being recruited by SEC schools, and I think he's flying under the radar as probably the best quarterback in the state. And I know there's some really good ones out there, but this kid can make all the throws, and he is athletic with the ball in his hand.
Don't tell me that.
He's a good player, Pat.
Pat, this looks. What do y'all's DBs look like, Pat?
Oh my. Okay.
I'm watching film.
Oh.
But listen, hey, Vestavia had their way with Auburn last year in the first time we played them. Now we were able to return that.
Yeah, when it mattered. When it mattered in the playoffs.
Well,
yeah.
but hey, Vestavia, they really attacked Auburn and scored more points against them.
Well, that Pate kid at quarterback did a pretty nice job in the playoffs.
Well, he didn't play against Vestavia. He played against Daphne, and then he played against Opelika for 2 series. So he's got some work to do. He's got some growing to do, but maybe they'll get him on the field in other ways this year.
All right, let's talk about the Auburn basketball team right now, Rob, because kind of bit of a funk right now, but all the bracketologists, they still have Auburn safely in the mix, either a 7 or an 8 seed, depending on which bracketology you look at. Just your thoughts right now, what you're seeing with Stephen Pearl's first-year team down on the Plains.
I think that just struggling to play quality defense consistently. I mean, you saw it against Alabama where they really just ran them off the three-point line for a half and then just kind of relaxed. And Alabama gets hot and I think goes about 50% from the three-point line when you go over the course of the game. And so just can't get lulled to sleep defensively. And, of course, Auburn's 2 best scorers are Auburn's 2 worst defenders. And so that's challenging to you need the scoring threat, but you've got guys that aren't elite defenders that are giving up runs and giving up mismatches. I think the thing that it works in Auburn's favor right now is that they really don't have a bad loss to a team. I mean, they've gotten blown out by some really great teams, but every team that they've lost to is a quality team and a tournament team. So they just need to win the games they're supposed to and not lose any more home games. You know, losing back-to-back home games for the first time since 2017, I believe. That's a tough pill to swallow for people, but they've done it against two really good teams, and you know, they just have to not lay down if things don't go their way at Arkansas, which is going to be another difficult place to play this weekend, and know that everything's before them. They just have to win the games they're supposed to win.
Where do you think maybe the biggest learning curve has been for Stephen Pearl in his first season as a head coach?
I think it's probably learning how to push the right buttons, how to get the most out of guys without, you know, totally throwing them under the bus. You know, he likes to make statements in press conferences that can kind of get under the skin of people, but you know, kind of get his verbiage out. And I think just you know, trying to get what he can out of his best players. And then also showing that he's not afraid to sit guys if they're not producing. So I think he was put in a very difficult position, and he's going to grow through the time. I'm not ready to give up on him by any stretch.
Rob, we always appreciate the time. Don't give up on us. We want to see you here next Thursday. We'll have more fun to talk about. More Sweet Frog.
Yeah. We'll never give up on you guys. All right. Y'all take care. War Eagle.
Thanks, Rob. We appreciate you, brother. Rob Pate joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline.
Chris Vanini from The Athletic covers college football. He's next. 12:30 we'll go up to Knoxville, Tennessee. That's all straight ahead on Jocks.